Hello,
Hello,
Adam,
Adam,
Ryan.
Ryan, Donato.
Nice,
Forget his
nice,
name.
nice, nice. Hello, this is Adam here talking about movies with you guys today on Hard Reviews. I have two guests here. My first and the person who brought the movie to our attention, we have Tamsen. Say hello.
Hi.
Tamsen, right off the bat, is there anything you'd like to plug that you would have or do?
Yeah, so I just graduated from the University of Tampa last May with a film degree, and I'm trying to become a TV comedy writer. I've written a bunch of spec scripts. I've written my own scripts, so if anybody out there is looking for a writing assistant, let me know. Otherwise, I also make my own short films.
That degree that you have, is that an art degree or a science degree?
It is a BFA art degree.
Art degree. Wow. See, that's really interesting because um, I graduated with my bachelor's in film, but it's a science degree, and I was remember being shocked about that because in what way? I mean, I get it because my school was a lot more of like you're getting hands on with equipment and learning all this technology stuff. So I get from that perspective, I understand how it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
it's science because you know all this technology stuff.
okay.
But yeah, that's interesting. It's especially what I did. It's an art. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
So your
agree.
your degree is a lot more accurate than mine. And now I also have joining us today. I have an equally as accomplished film person, Julie. Say hello.
Hi.
What do you have or do to plug?
Yeah, so April, I got my Bachelor's of Science in Marketing from Florida State University. Go Knowles. The piece of paper actually came in today. And then I am starting my job at Clean Streak Ventures on July 1st as a marketing coordinator. Yeah.
Ayo, that sounds awesome. All right, so I'm doing a little bit new of a format today, like I told you guys before. So I'm gonna open up with general movie news for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Then we're gonna get into our movie of the day, which is Horse Girl. And so first of all, some things that I wanted to talk about in the film world today. Which first of all, we're in the heat of the summer movie season. Do you guys have a favorite movie so far this year? Because we're just about in about a week from now, it'll be halfway through the year. What do you guys have for favorite movies?
Let me look up my letterbox real quick. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I have to be fair and say that the only movie I've actually gone to see in the theaters was yesterday. We went to see A Quiet Place 2. Um, and since I got the full movie experience, I have to give it to that one. Um, just because I don't know, there's nothing the same as big box of popcorn and watching a movie in the theater. But that was really good. I'm excited for content, as Adam would call it, with Black Widow coming out and the Eternals. Yeah.
Um,
Good, good, good. Tamsin, what do you think?
so when you say this, you mean film released this year?
Yeah, 2021 movies.
Okay. Um, well, WandaVision is on Letterboxd, so I will count that. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it for the first time last week. Um, and then I did know what was going to happen because of Twitter, but I still enjoyed it a lot. And then it surprised me, but Inside by Bo Burnham.
See,
Um,
it's funny because I love it. I think it's perfect, but something's stopping me from calling it a movie and not a special.
it is a special. That's how I would define it too. I wouldn't say it's a film.
Because
Um,
like, because my problem then is if I call this a movie and I put it on my top 10 list, then retroactively, Make Happy and What are also would have been on my top 10 list for those years too.
yeah.
And seeing how obsessed I am with Bo Burnham, they'd probably be at number one, and so it completely changed my Dynasty top 10. Every year I do a top 10 list, and a Dynasty is where ever since 2013. So after 2013, I did it was 2014. I did 2013 and 2014 movies, and then 2015 it was 13 through 15. You know what I mean? So I kept making a top 10 list every year, adding movies to it since I started being serious about watching them. But no, I definitely agree. That was fantastic. Me and Julie have talked about that before too, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't Now that I think about it more, it's more so like it struck me as like an experimental, just like piece of art,
Mm-hmm.
with the abrupt cuts and then the juxtaposition between the white girl Instagram and the I'm FaceTiming with my mom and the aspect ratio changes and all of that. I just felt like I was
Mm-hmm.
watching like an expensive student film, like an experimental, but a lot more evolved than a student film.
Mm-hmm. All
Yeah.
right, so we got WandaVision, Inside, and what you said you were going to name a third one?
Um, I did like the what is it? The Family versus the Machines.
The
That was
Mitchells versus the
good.
Machines.
Mitchell versus the Machines. I connected with that one a lot more than I thought I would. I had no idea what it was. I just clicked on it and I was surprised.
You know, it's funny that you say that exact sentence that you connected with it, because when I worked on the movie, it was called Connected.
Oh,
And we got the title change. Well, not we, but like,
I didn't know that.
our thing was basically would ask people like, "Oh man, do you like the name of the movie?" And they did not, apparently, because now it's the Mitchells versus the Machines, which definitely has a lot more personality than Connected. I would definitely have to agree with you. That is firmly at my number 2 spot on the year. It's flirted with number 1, and it's not been in consideration to go any lower than 2. Even though I am a huge fan of Judas and the Black Messiah, which
Yeah,
is
I did see that.
that stayed at number 3 for me all year. Um, but number 1 for sure, and I just caught this last night in Dolby, and that's why I was like, it was my last day to see it in Dolby because it only has one showtime a day right now, and there's a little movie that comes out this week that's gonna apparently live in Dolby for the next 2 weeks. Have you heard of F9,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Fast Saga?
Oh,
Or they go to space and John Cena is Vin Diesel's brother.
Yes.
That's why
uh,
I'm gonna go see it just for that.
I'm catching it tonight, and I really want to show up in just a wife beater and jeans.
That's fitting. You should go see it at the 40 cinema. I've seen that it's going to be a thing there.
Oh, are you talking about? I think I know what theater you're talking about. People always talk. It's a Regal, right?
I believe. I know there's a bunch of over here on the West Coast, but they're showing Fast 9 in 4D.
Wow, I can't wait to have asphalt hit me in the face. Actually, speaking of Vin Diesel, a movie news thing that I wanted to catch your guys' opinion on is I saw the best article title in the world, and just to summarize what it said was a Toretto solo film. According to Vin Diesel, a Toretto solo film is still on the table. And Vin Diesel has been seen working on set with a bunch of this, new age, high tech, stuff with James Cameron, um,
Okay.
meaning that he may or may not be in an upcoming science fiction blockbuster directed by James Cameron.
Uh-huh.
Which one of those stands out as a more exciting piece of news to you guys?
Just the James Cameron Vin Diesel collab.
I don't have
It's
an. Yeah.
It's funny because if Vin Diesel is in Avatar 2, it's my most anticipated movie of next year.
Oh, I hope he's blue. I want blue Vin Diesel. That would be so good.
And I want a villain too, where he like talks a lot also.
Evil blue Vin Diesel. Have you seen The Last Witch Hunter?
No, I still have to watch the rest of his filmography, which I'm trying to get. I have Pitch Black on DVD, and it's in my I need to watch soon
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, I saw The Last Witch Hunter like 3 weeks ago now. And it was on Tubi, which is free, by the way. And it was on the top films list. And he plays an ancient witch hunter that is immortal. And so he lives into it's like 2015 and he has to stop this powerful entity. And he's still like is traumatized from what happened in like 1300 whatever. So you get ancient Vin Diesel and modern Vin Diesel, and he's like doing like cool witch stuff.
Two Vin Diesels.
Yeah,
That sounds like the best kind of movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I cannot wait for the new Fast movie. Actually, the last little news topic that I want to bring up to you guys before I move over to our movie of the day, which actually this kind of is relevant. Um, In the Heights recently came out,
Mhm.
and it is critically adored. I caught it early a few weeks ago. Actually, I think it was definitely over a month ago, and I had to watch it on my computer. I fell in love with it. It was my most anticipated movie of last year, which carried over to this year. I love a big, fun, summer musical. And it was great. It definitely lived up to the hype. Like I said, it's my number one movie of the year. Fantastic, fun, love it. Um, it is sadly made by Warner Brothers, which means that this year it was released on HBO Max the same day as it was in theaters for free, which definitely hindered its box office. But I've heard that executives from Warner Brothers have said that they do not blame HBO Max for the death of In the Heights at the box office. And they say that it hasn't even really brought them very many subscribers on HBO Max in general, which I don't think In the Heights is responsible for that. I just think it's very hard for me to say, like, oh, I would sign up for this streaming service just for this one movie and then hope things and happen in the future. You know what I mean? What do you guys think about this whole HBO Max putting the movie out on the streaming service for free the same day as theaters?
I'd say In the Heights wouldn't have brought them many subscribers, like in general, because it's very different from the rest of the stuff they have on HBO Max. Like we have HBO Max only because my parents do, so um, and we watch it all, everything on there. But if there's something we want to see in the theaters, like Black Widow, we're not going to pay for it. Like if it was free on Disney Plus, we wouldn't pay for it on Disney. We wouldn't watch it for free on Disney Plus if it was for free. We would go to it in theaters because we want to see it on the big screen. If it's something that you want to see, then you're gonna go see it. Like we have access to like a Plex where we could have watched A Quiet Place too for free, but we went to see it in theaters because again, it was something that I really was looking forward to see. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I think you're if it's something that you're going to see, like that you're really anticipating, you're going to go see it in the theaters.
Mm-hmm. Tamsin?
Yeah, I feel like if you watch A Quiet Place 2 in your house for the first time, I think you're taking a fat dump on like the sound mix because then you're not getting the sound mix. You're just hearing it out of what your TV has. And so, like Julie said, if it's something you've been anticipating, then yeah, you'll go see it in the theaters. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm gonna go see Dune and the French Dispatch and all of that in the theaters because the Wes Anderson aspect ratio, I'm sure, isn't gonna look too good on my little TV.
Well, it's interesting that you guys say that. Well, because I completely agree. Yes, the content matters, and the best way to see the movie is in the theater. I got really cocky when In the Heights came out. I worked the Thursday night that it came out, and this guy was talking to me about it, and I was like, "Oh, well, this movie was great, and great movies make a lot of money at the box office. So when this does, I expect the Hamilton movie to be greenlit within as early as this week, but definitely within the month." And then it made $11 million on its opening weekend, and I think it needs like 100 million at least to break even. And it's really not going to happen. This is the year for musicals, though,
It,
because Dear Evan Hansen comes out, and West Side Story. Which one of those two has you guys more excited?
West Side Story.
West Side Story, just because I don't know, the Dear Evan Hansen thing just doesn't seem too appealing to me because Ben Platt, it's so hard to buy him as playing a high schooler. Like the second I saw the trailer, I was like, oh no. Um,
Yeah, he's definitely old.
he looks
Um,
old, and then they casted younger people. Like I would have bought it if you casted people within his age group, but it's just a big kid in high school, and it didn't look compelling.
I think the hard part for me about it is, yeah, no, because I agree. If everyone was around him was closer to his age, then all right, fine, whatever, blend in. But my thing is, who's buying a ticket just because Ben Platt's in it?
A lot of people, I feel like, at
Really?
least from my Facebook feed, which I went on I have to check Facebook occasionally, and for some reason I happened to go on the day that that trailer was released, and everybody was like Googling over him, and that was a big surprise. So
All right, I am wrong.
yeah.
Well, then good for them, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I think I even got offered to go see it, but I turned it down. And so, I mean, but I'm always down for a good musical, and I'm just happy that movie musicals are still being made, and that Cats didn't kill the genre, but or completely save it. Well, it seems, I don't know. The year after Cats comes out, there's like 3 big blockbuster musicals, so who's to say? But
I'm
yes.
not arguing with you on that one.
But yeah, we were talking about streaming service movies, which Horse Girl, our movie of the day, is a streaming movie, but it came out at Sundance, correct?
I believe that's right.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Tamsen, would you like to go ahead and introduce the movie that you got us to watch this week?
Yeah, so directed by Jeff Baena, which is Aubrey Plaza's husband. Written and directed by Allison Brie and Jeff, though. Um, it's kind of like a science fiction, dark comedy, a little horror drama about this very introverted, awkward girl. Doesn't really understand social cues, has a little bit of coming of age in it. It's just a beautiful blend of all the genres. Very sad but funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Julie, I'll let you go first. What were and hold spoilers. We'll do general impressions, and we'll talk about spoilers after. Julie, what was your thoughts on this movie?
So I liked it because it was slow, but not like boring slow. It was like sort of, I refer to it as Murder on the Orient Express slow, where it just kind of keeps you there and like you want to keep watching it. Like it's just something you can almost relax to. Um, it was odd, but like not a bad odd either. I liked how it involved mental health, but also not at the same time. It was sort of like a weird balance between, like Tamsin said, sci-fi, but like mixed with mental health, and you're kind of not sure which is happening. Um, Alison Brie did beautiful in it. Like she, I don't know, she played the part. She did a, I don't know how else to describe it. I couldn't picture anyone else in that role. Um, all of the casting choices were cool. I like how there is horse. I mean, the horse. I know it's called Horse Girl, but like horses weren't even like. I was expecting some quirky little film about a girl. Like I just wanted to apply, and I didn't watch any trailers or anything. I was expecting, like how you refer to horse girls, like back in high school, But it was just like, I don't know. It was pretty. It was a pretty film.
Yeah, it was funny. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, I just changed over to my actual microphone that was plugged in, and I'm like, I wasn't on that from the get. But yes, so it's funny because right after you told me about this movie, I told Julie about it because I knew you guys are friends, and I said, "Go ahead and watch this movie." And then the next day, she was like, "All right, I watched it. When are we going?"
Oh, so cute.
I was like, "Oh gosh, like this is like a few days ago," and I'm like, I haven't even seen it yet. So let's hold on for just a minute.
I appreciate that a lot.
I got to it. I saw it yesterday when I got home from work. I remember I asked to get off work early because I was like, I want to, be able to watch this movie comfortably because I knew I had tickets that night. And it's funny because I'm usually, it's very hard for me, especially at home. That's why I really like the theater going experience, because then I'm forced to sit in a place and watch a thing. Like I drove here, I came for this, so I better sit here and watch. And I can't go on my phone. I can't go to the bathroom. I can't do anything else. Go make food. But this one, so I threw it on my iPad, and I was like eating my lunch after work, and I was like, oh, I'll put on for like 20 minutes. I'll get through the first act here, and then I'll go take my shower, and then I'll come back to it. You know what I mean? And it was right about where the title was, where I was like, oh, okay, I'm actually really into this. And I eventually stayed well, I transitioned to the couch, but I watched it all the way through, which is very surprising to me, because not because of the movie, just because of myself. But that's my first compliment to the movie, is that it did have me from the get. I love Alison Brie from Community. She's fantastic, and I did see Annie for a lot of this. That's kind of a very similar, like, she's socially awkward, but she's super nice and genuine and sweet, and uh, but I think she did fantastic. I got to agree with you on that one. She was definitely carried the movie. I actually saw Jeff Baina's other movie, Life After Beth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that one. I'm a big Aubrey Plaza fan. I remember she was really big. That was 2014, right?
It was 20.
13.
And then after that was The Little Hours. That's his other film.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. I think not Aubrey Plaza. Alison Brie's in that one too, right?
Alison Brie and Aubrey Plaza. And Dave Franco, her husband's in that one too.
Okay, cool,
That one's
cool,
worth the
cool.
watch as well.
Yeah, I didn't know she was with Dave Franco either. I just keep finding out new things. But it's funny that you talk about you led with how many genres that this falls under, because I agree. I think it's more heavily on it's marketed as like a thriller, and yeah, I guess it is. But I watched an interview with the cast, and they were like, "Oh, it's kind of like a quirky comedy." And with like thriller aspects in there. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't really even call it a comedy either, because I didn't really want to laugh at her because, well, and thank God I didn't, because I was like, later on in the movie, it's like, oh, she's just mentally unwell, and so it had just been me being like, ha ha, like you are not okay.
It's very absurdist.
Yes, but the one thing that I saw, because I read up, I was right before here, I was just like, I had half an hour. I was like, oh, let me go look up people's opinions, read some letterbox reviews, check it out. And one thing that I commonly found about the movie was that it doesn't know what it wants to be.
I read that a lot on Letterboxd as well.
And I'm going to completely disagree with that.
That's exactly.
Yeah, I think it knows exactly what it wants to be. The movie I would compare it to. Now, let me just establish, I wasn't crazy about this movie. Like, it's good, and I enjoyed it, and I got all the way through it, and I definitely, like, at the end of the year, I'm gonna think about Aubrey Plaza when I'm thinking about some of my favorite female performances of the year. But excuse me, it's funny though, because Swiss Army Man is one of my favorite movies. It was my favorite movie of 2016, and that's another movie that got kind of like mixed reviews, and had genres all over the place, and it kind of had that like low 60s or mid 60s, high 50s Rotten Tomatoes score, and that's where I love to live, because that means that it's so weird that it's like it's niche. It kind of caters to a specific group. So whereas something like something like what's something generic and big, like a Black Widow, like where everyone would vaguely enjoy that, something more niche and more weird, more out there, but that doesn't appeal to this broad spectrum of people, like a Kick-Ass, right? There's a small group of people that would like really enjoy Kick-Ass, but they would love Kick-Ass. You know what I mean? So I definitely saw that this was one of those types of movies for you. So that's one thing I do really appreciate about it, is that it was its own thing.
I noticed that with Ingrid Goes West too. It's another Plaza film, but it's a niche group of people that adore it. And
that
then
one was really good.
Yeah, with Elizabeth Olsen. The two of them play the roles too well.
Yeah, it's no, and I really did like it. I thought it was weird. I remember my relationship with Alison Brie changed kind of throughout, because I was rooting for her, and then once she started to take the guy to the cemetery is right around when I was like, all right, you're going off the deep end. For me, it wasn't until I recontextualized the entire movie under the vision of, oh, she's mentally unwell, and this is all not a normal person. Like if a normal person did these things, okay, you're crazy, you're crazy and you're bad, and I'm not rooting for you anymore. But knowing what issue she's dealing with, really. Which I guess we could talk about spoilers now. What's the disease that she shares with her grandmother or mother?
It seemed like bipolar with a hint of schizophrenia because she did have like some psychosis episodes. But at the same time, I do think that there was a part of sci-fi that played a role into it because there was some unexplainable like occurrences that they had the audience and even like just the other individuals in like the other characters in the movie experience, like when Joan was her name, I think. She at the beginning of the movie she watched the horse walk by at the beginning. It's like, okay, well, that's not part of Sarah, was that her?
Mm-hmm.
Sarah's psychosis episode. Like it was Joan experiencing the horse walking through, and it was just a bunch of like odd occurrences that it's just like I don't know if it was all mental health.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, so then let's dive into it. Is this real? Is what she's going through legit? Is she a clone? Is aliens abducting her? Or are you guys just cool with the whole she's crazy?
I would say since we were following it almost entirely from her reality and her perspective, it's real to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a case of unreliable narrator because we're only experiencing what she experiences and what's presented to us.
No, I believe that it's real to her. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's real to her. I'm saying what actually happened here. Like, what's your
Okay.
interpretation of what actually happened? Are we living in the real world, or are we living in some kind of fictional? Like, there's aliens, or there's clones, or there's some kind of science fiction thing going on here.
Well, she had the photograph to prove it. I would say it's real.
I would say it's real because then she also talks to the girl in the bed, and then how do you explain the guy that she follows to his house? It's like the same people, and then she has the same dream as her roommate that she shares her room with in the psych ward. It's just some of this it's very odd. I don't think it's completely all mental illness. I do think some of it is, but I think it could have also been caused from just like living in a weird world where only she experiences the sci-fi aspect of it. I think like she could be going back in time because like you see, I think she's her grandmother and she's going back in time because you went from the beginning of the movie and then at the end of the movie you see her walk the horse through the shop, and then you have all the claims that her grandmother was from the future. So I think she's just stuck in a loop where she's just like going back. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's definitely one of those where I feel like I want to watch it again later on to kind of add more context to what I'm seeing, because that the her walking the horse and Molly Shannon seeing that definitely leads me to believe that there's some kind of clone thing going on. And obviously, it'd have to be some sort of a time loop, because why is that happening in the future? Oh, well, I mean, she's not time traveling, but so it would be more of the clone thing. But yeah, is that her? Is that her clone that's walking by with the horse? And then who's that? Which Allison Brie is the real Allison Brie? Or what'd you say her name was?
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay, yes. In my opinion, it doesn't matter if like what's really happening. Like I don't know, you ever see those videos where it's like, oh, ending explained, like
Oh,
this
I
is
don't
what
watch that.
really happened. Yeah, I know. That was the top one. And I when I looked up a review of this movie, and I was like, I don't need that. That's fine.
Oh.
I don't really care. Because like just like with Swiss Army Man, at the end of that movie, they're like, oh, did all this actually happen? Or is it real? Like, is he actually like a real dead body? Or was he just talking to a corpse. And my answer is, it doesn't really matter. It's because their relationship is still their relationship. They still went through the things that they went through, and on screen. And but it is fun to talk about whether or not it was true. I like to believe. No, I think she's crazy. I just think she's straight up crazy. I like nothing, not too much out of the ordinary happened for me to be like on screen happened for me to be like, oh man, she's like there's actually something going on here. Like, yes, she saw people at different places at different times, but like you said, it's an unreliable narrator. And um I maybe think that she just recontextualized people and was like, oh, I saw this person at the store, but I'm actually in a psych ward. I'm with them now. But how are you out there in the the store? I saw you in the store a month ago, and oh, but I've been in the psych ward for years now. And it's like, well, I feel like she's just imagining all of it. I feel because what was it? There's cloning, there's aliens, there's time loops, and there's visions, and I think she just saw the pipes guy, before, and had a dream. And in your dreams, your mind takes things, subconscious things that you don't even really think about, and oh, but it's this huge coincidence. Well, no, you saw them before, and now you saw them in your dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like if there was a screenplay, because I have been scourging the internet for months trying to find a script, and there is not one in existence, apparently, says Alison Brie, because they wrote a really detailed outline and then improv'd all of the lines, supposedly. And
I watched the interview, and they talked about that.
yeah,
Actually, yeah.
and so I feel like if there was a script, it would be explained, as there is with like a lot of films that aren't explicit when you're watching it. So yeah, I don't appreciate how there isn't one. I wish they had released the outline. But and that's
Yeah,
the
it'd be almost interesting to see, like, how did you make a movie without having a script? You know what
yeah,
I mean?
like a very detailed outline. I can understand that because I've had outlines that are 10 pages long, but I would appreciate getting access to it, I guess. I just want to dig their brains because how did they conceptualize this? And I don't know. Yeah.
I think and the ending, it's not a good for her. You know how there's a subgenre of horror movie, the good for her
Yeah.
subgenre. You guys heard about that theory? It's like
Mhm.
Midsummer is like the prime example.
Yeah.
The movie ends with some girl, and she went through hell the entire movie, and now she's just like
Better off.
she's better off for it. And this one, well, man, what happens to her? Does she? Because she goes out with the horse into the forest and takes her shoes off, and then she lays down, and then doesn't she get risen up?
Yep.
Yeah, she floats off.
Is she dead? Is she like, well, what's going
Maybe.
on there? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she died or she ascended or I guess you can define it as ascension. I don't know. Julie, what do you think?
I was just like, okay, well, she got abducted by aliens because in my head I was still stuck on the time loop thing. But I do think it could be a very good metaphor for like her killing herself and dying because her mom had depression.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that too.
But I don't know. I want to know back to the outline thing. I'm curious as to who was like their consultant for the issues on mental health, like how they got. I want to know the stories that they received to do the individual like sections, like when she got all the fabric, all that orange fabric, and like she created herself a little suit, and just kind of covered everything. It was just I I just can't picture like there not being a script.
Yeah, I know that couldn't have been an original thought. Like that came from somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I did think, like coming from my own experience, I thought it was a very accurate depiction of mental health. Um, and that's why I favor the film so much is that I find myself relating to the character Sarah, and I think in cinema, it's like one of the best depictions of mental health. without romanticizing or glorifying it.
Right.
Like you actually, I don't know. I cried throughout the film when I saw it for the first time. So I was like, this is crazy. I've never seen this done, and I'm not hating it.
Right. And you believe her. Like Adam said, like in the case that it is about like solely mental health and not about sci-fi, like you're rooting for her in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
No, I am rooting for her. It's funny because it was right around when she had the guy over for her birthday. Well, because I'm like mad at her roommate's boyfriend. Like he's being a jerk. Like, come on, it's her birthday. Like how me. Like I get it. She's weird. If I came out in the middle of the night and my roommate's girlfriend was just kind of standing in the dark, staring at a wall, I mean, even then though, I know people, have like it's a very regular thing for people to sleepwalk. Right? And just be like, hey, I think you were sleepwalking again. Do you want to go to your room, or something like that? Or like, hey, let me help you out, like,
For
but
somebody
instead
that's like, for somebody that's like an aspiring rapper and he's like, listen to my mixtape and everything, you think he'd be a lot more appreciative of other people. These are the people that can appreciate your art in the future.
I feel like this is one of those like SoundCloud high school rappers though.
Oh yeah.
So we all know how that
oh yeah, he's not good.
He wasn't, and he was like, it's the baker's dozen, and then that whole exchange was so cute.
And isn't a baker's dozen 13? Because I think he says 12.
Yeah, that was their whole thing. That was Sarah and I don't remember his name. Sure.
I don't
just
remember his
that
name
Brian
either.
was the rapper, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Debbie Ryan was the character.
It was Darren, because he has the same name as the Purgatory.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
Right.
Which also having Matthew Gray Gluber show up. Matthew, that's his name, right?
Matthew Gubler.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I know him. It's funny at first, before I knew that was actually like a fake made up show, I thought they were just watching, what is he on, Criminal Minds?
Right, yeah.
I thought they were just watching episodes of that.
He was a lot of stuff last year, actually, because he's in Dollface as well.
Shoot, is that with Nathan Fillion?
No, it's Kat Dennings. It's actually created by a really young showrunner. It's like my favorite show at the moment, but he plays a love interest in the show to Kat Dennings.
Well, I know he's a very, very popular. I know people like him a lot. In my head, I'm getting him mixed up with Evan Peters, but I'm sure people do that very regularly. I looked up the score for the movie on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you guys know the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Oh, I thought you meant the musical score. I was like, oh, it's so good. No, what is the score for the film?
Actually, I would love to hear a guess from you guys. A tomato meter score, which is the critics, and then the audience score.
So we give both numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're all. That's the hint. They are very different.
Okay.
They're very
audience,
different.
I would say would be in the 50s.
Mm-hmm. And the tomato meter?
80s.
Okay, Tamsen.
My audience is in the 40s, and my tomato meter is in the 70s.
Wow, almost spot on. I thought Julie had it there because I was like, oh, you're pretty much right. But yeah, no, the audience score is a 47%, and the tomato meter score is a 71.
Okay.
So critics liked it more than audiences did, which makes a lot of sense to me because I do think it was because I'm not the Rotten Tomatoes, the end all be all. They're whatever they say, that's the law. I mean, I will use it in an argument, like I'm arguing with my brother about The Last Jedi, and I'm like, well, look at the critics score, and he's like, oh, critics have no idea what they're talking about. But like, even in a movie like what was it, Speed Racer? I love Speed Racer. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Super low critic. Yeah, oh yeah, super low critic score. But like, I still I read why they give the rating they do, and I'm like, oh well, I disagree with them. I don't think the special effects are bad. I think they had a very specific style. They were trying to make a live action anime, and was it ahead of its what?
Like the quick zooms, I love. They're cool.
Oh yeah, and like it. Is it ahead of its time in the sense that like was technology ready for what they were trying to do? Maybe not, but like I do appreciate what they were trying to do, and it was effective to me. And like I don't know, like I think, of course, take critics with a grain of salt, but still take them. You know what I mean?
Can you tell us what the tomato meter is for The Little Hours?
The little hours.
That's another Baena film. That's 2017.
2017, The Little Hours,
Yeah.
almost identical. The tomato meter score is a 78, and audience score is 49. So it is seen as better by both critics and audiences.
Yeah. It is a lot more lighthearted. I mean, it's got John C. Riley, and he's playing like a really funny guy. So,
Yeah, I'll have to put that one on my list now because
yeah. I
it,
both
it looks
it.
it looks pretty good, and I did enjoy this. It's funny. The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, oh, I liked it because I think I don't know if you saw. Did you see my letterbox review?
I did look at it right before, and you said my girlfriend is a horse girl. That's all you wrote. So I couldn't
Well,
gauge how you felt about it, but it
well,
was
I did that on purpose because, well, first of all, when I do a letterbox review, I'm trying to do a one. Like my goal is to have it be one sentence
oh
because,
same.
yeah, because when I know when I click on someone's review and I see like a paragraph.
I click off.
Like I don't know, not to be mean, and like I know they put effort into it, but like I don't. We live in a. I mean, I hate to call us the Vine generation, but like when I'm watching TikTok, I'm so quick to pass something up if
Hmm.
it doesn't grab me within the first 5 seconds. You know what I
No, of
mean?
course. And with Letterbox, it's why you? Why should I read your opinion? Because I don't even know you.
Well, I mean, sadly, like even my friends, I'll be like, oh, they wrote a paragraph. Like maybe if I just watched the movie and I go and I'm like, oh, someone else wrote a review about it. Let me go see what they said.
Hmm.
And only if it's like something that I'm kind of like, oh, well, what do people think? Like this, I read everyone's review because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, this is kind of a weird movie. I don't know how people feel about this, but like something like I don't know, something stupid like Jurassic World. I'm like, okay, I imagine you had a lukewarm opinion about it as everyone does. Like, what I don't even know a hot take that one could have about Jurassic World. That's such a nothing movie to me. Um, but no, but like, because you'll be surprised. So many people, you'll say like, "Hey, so like the critics, say anything about critics." They're like, "Oh, well, I don't care about critics. I don't trust critics."
Hmm.
And it's like, I get it. Maybe they care more about movies in a different way than you do. Maybe they look for things that you don't even know exist.
Probably have
um
connections to the film as well. A lot of people.
Say that again.
I said they probably do have connections to the film that anyone just clicking on it on Netflix would have too.
Yeah, and it's but it's funny though because like they are professionals. This is their job.
Hmm.
Like they are a credible source, and just like how with any, I think they're just stupid because because if you're like, oh, I don't trust critics, it's like, yeah, no, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to take them as the law. They're an informed opinion that you can check on to see, oh, what do other people think about this? What's
Yeah.
the general consensus? That's what Rotten Tomatoes is about. You know what I
There's
mean?
also
Like,
critics that don't like things that other critics do.
mhm.
They're all people with opinions as well.
It's the
Yeah,
same thing
like
as
I've
going.
seen people on Twitter like, oh, why are people who don't like horror movies writing reviews about horror
Yeah.
movies? You know?
It's the same thing as going to a restaurant. You use their opinions to gauge whether or not like you'll like what's there. So
Oh yeah, like Yelp reviews.
yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, exactly. Um,
Most people that write Yelp reviews are just writing them to complain. So
Oh no, you're exactly right. I do that because I know one of my jobs, I get like in trouble if I get like a bad review. So like if I ever get mad at a place, I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna hold on to it and write it on a Google review, and someone's gonna get chastised later for it."
I think it's funny when they respond and they're like, "Oh, come in and we'll give you a free dessert." Hmm.
No, great. I mean, like I went to go get my hair cut recently, and my appointment, they took me like 15, 20 minutes after my appointment. They're like, "Oh, we'll give you $5 off." And I was like, because I was right about to put a really bad review, and then I was like, "Oh, $5 off? Sweet."
Did you have the review, like the Google open right then and there to do it?
No.
Oh,
I
I thought
should
you
have.
were
Well,
like,
it was my fault anyways because places do the thing where it's like, "Oh, text yes to confirm your
Yeah.
appointment,"
oh,
and I didn't
right.
do that. I actually didn't think I had to. But
Oh.
back to Horse Girl. No, I love the Rotten Tomato score like that. I am biased because I like a divisive movie. I like a movie that, you know, one person would watch and absolutely hate, and the other person would watch and absolutely love.
Mhm.
I don't want to watch a movie that is in reality. Um, I mean, it's funny because like I said on my letterbox, I gave this a 3 stars.
You did.
But just because it wasn't like personally for me, but I do appreciate, like, I love the performance. I appreciate the movie they were trying to make,
Who,
and I was entertained. You know
who,
what I mean?
uh, who would you say the demographic is? If you're saying you're not it, then who is the film for? In your
Oh, I'm not saying I'm not the demographic. I am the demographic. Who's this for? It's not for horse girls.
Really not.
Um, Certainly, I think people our age.
Mhm. And what would you say comparable films for them are then?
Oh, a comparable film to this. Oh, so like I said, Swiss Army Man, 100%,
Like,
100% Swiss Army Man, 100%. I don't want to call this movie indie trash, and I mean when I say the word trash, I say that lovingly because I love indie trash.
yeah.
But it's indie trash. You know what I mean? Like, what was it? Safety not guaranteed.
Hmm.
Like that. That very much so kind of fits in the same. Like, oh, it's very weird and high concept. Is it real or not? Who cares? Look at their relationship. Isn't this cute? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
Ingrid
actually,
Goes West was one of the first that came to my mind.
Right. I'd agree.
what? Do you have any other one?
Um, I'm just no, honestly, I'm thinking about Ingrid Goes West. The that new movie with crap. It's like a spin-off of Groundhog's Day with
Oh,
Nate.
Palm Springs.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I loved Palm Springs.
Yes,
Palm
yes.
Springs
That's
was
a perfect example.
Ooh, I would go on to say Villains too. Villains with Bill Skarsgård. It's on Hulu. It's a dark comedy. Oh, I
Hmm.
bawled my eyes out, but it's beautiful.
I need to check that out because
Yeah.
I haven't even heard about that. But
Oh, it's a great indie film. I would call that indie trash. It's great. It's absurdist too.
but Palm Springs, yeah, that was. I think that's a perfect example because I just threw that on. I just because I was like I heard it's good,
You
and it
know
kind of
that
blew me away how like sweet and genuine it was. But it is super weird, and even the ending of that movie is like like very
Yeah.
what was the word you used earlier? Absurdist.
Yep, how she was just like, I solved the way to get out of here.
Hmm.
That film was to date, it is the highest or most expensive film bid for a streaming platform.
Oh, yeah, because it
Wow.
wasn't like they bought it for like 20 million. I want to say.
Yeah, Hulu purchased it against all the other platforms for, you might be right, 20 million. But it's to date the most expensive film ever purchased for streaming, which is insane. I never thought that film would be it. You think it
It
would be
flirted
like,
with my top 10 list last year. I think I like that one more than this one, just
mhm,
because the comedy in that one does land for me,
yeah,
and it is a little bit more happier. No, don't get me wrong. I love a sad ending, and I appreciate this movie for being, because I don't know. It's bittersweet because like it seemed what I got from the ending is, oh, she found peace with herself, like whether that means she's dead now and she's with her grandmother, or whether that means that she actually just kind of came to terms with her illness and she's not really worrying about it anymore, I guess. It's a weird way to say it, I feel. But yeah, no, I really, it's funny because throughout this conversation I'm like, oh, maybe it was a 4 star instead of a 3 star.
I think it's a 5 star.
What's it called, Julie? What kind of rating would you give this?
I'd give it a 4 star. Um, I'm not always like completely satisfied with movies that don't give me a real explanation. Like The Birds, like hate
Oh
that
my
movie.
God. I remember this in high school. You used to complain about the birds as well. That always stuck with me.
It's like it's one thing if they give you like some like if they leave you hanging on a few things, like okay, it's cool to use my imagination. But when they don't tell you anything at all, it just rubs me the wrong way, and I don't like that. I don't know if it's because I have like a lack of imagination or what, but I just need like something. I need something that I can like run on. Not like, oh, she's in a psych ward, but also she's looking at herself from the psych ward. Like, I need something solid that I can run with.
Yeah.
So a question I have for you, actually, because I was just talking about this with someone the other day. Do you like Get Out more or Us?
You asked me that. That
Yeah.
was me that you were asking the other day.
Was I? Was it? Yeah. Okay. I was about to say because I had a whole bunch of people over and I was drinking also, so I don't remember anything. But yeah,
He
no.
was also watching Jurassic World.
Oh God.
Fallen Kingdom. Okay. I know that's worse,
That is
but
worse.
at least there's higher moments. I'm not talking about that movie. My point, Tamsen, my point with asking about Get Out versus Us is a lot of people don't really seem to like Us. Like I don't know if
Really?
you're on Twitter. You've seen me justify Us's existence out of random.
Out.
I like
What?
Us.
Us is far better than Get Out to me.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think they're very comparable, but my point is they're very different. I think Us or Get Out is like, hey, this is what this is what the movie's about. You know, like this is very clearly like may as well put it like right up on the screen. This is what it's about. Like, yeah, you can think about it and whatever, but there's very little up to your interpretation of like what is the themes of the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas with Us, it's like oof, man, I can go on. Like I have 12 different like concepts for what the movie's possibly trying to say or is about or what it's doing. And I feel like that makes it less mainstream. You know, like 2018 is the perfect year. And I talked about this the other night also. 2018 had two of the best horror movies of the last decade, right? We had Quiet Place, which was more of your like mainstream movie theater popcorn, you know, let's have some fun, let's have an overall experience like summer blockbuster. And Hereditary, which was more of your niche indie, you know, we're trying to disturb you, you know, the straight up like we are trying to make the scariest movie you've ever seen. You know, we don't have time for John Krasinski's, you know, noble sacrifices. You know, we're just trying to fuck you up. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's Ari Aster. I heard him in an interview about the thing about the Johnsons, and he had said he was in a conversation with his friend and he was like, "What's the most fucked up thing you ever heard of?" And he's like, "A son and his dad having a relationship." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's the whole plot of the thing about the Johnsons." And that's disturbing. If you watch that, that's the most disgusting film I've ever seen.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a short he had made, I believe, in his undergrad or his master's, but it's highly disturbing. It's got
And
the
like I love Hereditary. I you know, and I can watch something disturbing. Like
Hereditary is beautiful more than it is terrifying when you watch it for the third time.
See, that's the thing. I've only seen it the one time, but that's my problem is I'm not gonna throw it on again because I'm like, oh, when am I ever like, I really just want to be messed up for the next 24 hours.
Toni Collette's so fantastic. Once you look past,
Yeah.
once you become like Toni Collette fangirl, then you're like, okay.
No, you're talking to someone whose favorite director is M. Night Shyamalan. She's been doing this since 1999 when she starred in the greatest horror movie, one of the greatest horror movies ever, The Sixth Sense. I am a fangirl, okay?
I know.
But I don't know. Like I threw on Midsummer for the set. Well, I remember a friend wanted me to go watch the director's cut after I already watched the normal cut in the theater, and I was like, oh, too soon, and like I don't need more time.
Yeah, I know my friend Lauren had raved about it, and I still to this day haven't seen Midsummer at all, because I am too much of a wimp.
It was good. I liked it. We threw it on during the pandemic just to watch because we thought, I don't know, you see the title and it's all pretty and yellow, and if you don't go into it watching the trailer, you don't know what it's about. Yeah, it was good. Did you end up Adam watching and Tamsen watching Antebellum?
No.
Too, but I never saw it. I mean, I have it on streaming, but I just never watched it.
Yeah, it's a Hulu movie now, right?
Yeah, it is. Is it worth watch?
Yes. Yeah.
We'll do one of these about Antebellum.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like about this. I like being able to just be like, hey, assign me something that you care about, anything, and we'll watch it and we'll talk about it. And but oh, just before I forget, so yes, my letterboxd review, one sentence, right? You're in,
Mhm.
you're out. I'm dating a horse girl. Dot dot dot. My girlfriend has a giant like poster, like banner, poster, like painting of like all these horses,
Okay.
and it's prominently placed in our living room. And so I make fun of her all the time for being a horse girl. So when we watched this movie, it was fun. Well, because it's, I don't know, it's about horse girls, but like she doesn't bring horses outside of like that aspect of her life into anything else. Like it's not like at the store she's always talking about horses. She's always wearing horse things or whatever. The only time that like her life seems to be about horses when she's not on the ranch or the farm or whatever that is when she's dancing with the guy, which brings up a tweet. What I tweeted in the middle of the movie, which was a quote from myself saying, I think it was God. She's dancing like a horse.
Oh my God, yeah. I thought it was
Uh,
cute how she's dancing.
no, it's like it was cute and stuff, but like I'm like, oh my gosh, she's actually dancing like a horse, and like obviously she was trying to be dancing like a horse in real life. I want to find the exact quote.
After
Um,
going through what she went through with her friend, I would actively try to not think about horses. Like,
that's fair. Yeah, it was God. She's doing horse shit. That was my tweet. But it's interesting though because well, that brings me to another thing. Why was she so ostracized by the farm people?
yeah. Maybe because she
I
just always shows up now still with like things to put on the horse. I can't imagine them appreciating that. It's not her horse. You rent out the horses.
Well, they say anymore, right? It used to be her horse.
I mean, well, you rent the horses for your turn. Like now it's the girl who rides. I think she said English style, or was it Western? She rides English. I don't know. Whatever. But it's now that girl's horse in quotation marks because she's the one renting it.
Yeah, I think it was the liability. She's been harassing them for it's at this point where they would probably define it as harassment. Um, she's persistent. She doesn't understand social cues, and she's traumatized. So she's trying to fix and mend her relationship and whatever, and what brings her comfort. And she's messing with whatever they've got going on.
Yeah, because I remember. Well, she's unwanted by both the man and the woman that are there. Obviously, by the kid, who any chance she has, any chance that, like, any point when Allison Bree's trying to talk to her about anything, and like she's genuinely trying to help, she's like, "Oh, my mom's here or something." And I remember the moment that hit me the hardest, maybe in the entire movie, was when she brought the horse this little thing that she made the horse. I forgot what it was, a little thing.
It's for their
The
birthday.
lanyard.
The
Yeah,
lanyard.
and she was like, "Oh, I'm just got the horse this thing for its birthday because we share the same birthday." And they're like, "Okay, well, like you
They
should
didn't even
go."
wish
Like,
her happy birthday at all.
I know. And then like at the end, she's like walking away. She's like, "Happy birthday," and it's like, just tell this girl happy. Why do you hate her?
And I thought that was very rude and uncalled for. I understand how she's a little annoying telling the girl, "Oh, make sure you sit up straight. You're not connecting with the horse, whatever." Like that can be perceived as annoying, but they are rude to her.
Yeah, I was just like, this girl cares about the horse. I don't know why are you being so mean to this girl? I just was mad that everyone was being mean to her after a while, except for like her like somewhat mother Molly Shannon.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just felt like obviously it's not her mom, but that's the vibe that I got
Only
from
the
Molly Shannon, the lady who works with her at the what fabric store. What is it? Where does she work?
yeah,
Yeah.
knock off Joanne's.
Yeah. Oh man, this poor girl. This poor girl. That's my review. That would be my review if I had to redo it. But yeah, no. Overall though, I'm gonna wrap it up here with some final thoughts. Who would like to go first?
I think my final thought would be like, we didn't talk about her. I'll talk about her now. Debbie Ryan was not the person I would have expected to be in this film.
Oh, Good Luck Charlie.
No.
No.
Is that not the right show?
That's
Jessie.
Bridget Mendler, but that's okay. But
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's a completely different girl. What's the? Oh no, she's from Sweet Life on Deck.
Yeah, she's also
Yeah,
Jessie.
Okay, Jessie. There we go. She's in a
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Dang, I
it was
promise I had an older sister. I watched all these things.
it was weird seeing her in there, and it made more sense when they switched the roommate out for someone completely random. Be like, this was your roommate the whole time. But yeah, I don't know. I like the movie. I don't think it's something I would throw on to watch with Nick. He is. It's not something you'd watch with someone who likes action movies. I think they would throw a fit, but for me, I really enjoyed the movie. That's my final thought on it.
Tamsen?
Again, when I saw this film, I weeped. It's a good depiction of mental health. That film helped me finish my feature length film. And I took a lot of inspiration because I saw the protagonist I had written in Sarah, and that's also why I wanted the copy of the screenplay. But I appreciate that genre, and I wish there were more films like that where here's this terribly like Fleabag almost. Like I wish there was more Fleabag. I cried after Fleabag ended because I missed her. And a character like Alison Brie's in this film, I missed her because she's almost like a friend. It's like I'm not responding to her. She can't hear me. She's almost responding to me. But I don't know. It's like I love developing that relationship in the film with
When
that
someone's
character.
approachable.
Yeah, and she's so kind, and she didn't deserve a lot of the interactions that she had. So yeah, I rewatched it right before this, and I'm happy I did because I got those little notes of all, my heart.
So it's funny after this conversation, I think I decided because I do this a lot. I like rating out of 5 stars because it's a lot simpler than like, oh well, this one's like a 7.5. I don't know. I don't have a time for half stars or anything. Like it's easier to fit movies into wide, very vague because that's what reviews are for. If I had a very specific like 8.5, then you wouldn't need to read a review. You kind of know based off math. But I think movies are a lot more complicated than that. And for this one, I am gonna stick with my 3 out of 5 until I watch it again. If I'm inspired to watch it again or show it to somebody, or if I keep thinking about it, like a lot of how I perceive a movie's quality is how it sits with me. If I think about if I find myself 3 days from now like thinking about this movie and like fondly, like my opinion could go way up in the next few days. My opinion could go way down. But really, the deciding factor for me that would change it from a 3 to a 4 is if I do watch it again. I couldn't see it going lower than a 3. Obviously, I do think it's a good movie, but if I watch it again, then it's a 5. Not 5, 4, 4. But no, I definitely enjoyed this. Alison Brie carried the movie. It was nice seeing her in movies. The last movie I saw her in was Promising Young Woman, which she was a very welcome face in that movie for me, not for Cassie. It was Cassie, yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, definitely very unique. Definitely had its a very what's it called, noticeable style. Like I said before, the main thing I want to harp on is I would like to revolt against everyone who's saying that this movie has an identity crisis and doesn't know what it wants to be, and is misusing its elements. And I couldn't disagree more. I think it knows exactly what it wants to be. I think it's weird and quirky in its own way. It feels like it has a unique style, and I appreciate it for that. As a filmmaker, I could totally see where the director's like, oh yeah, I know exactly my interpretation of how this movie ended and everything, and um, I'm just happy that movies like this exist where people are like very divided about them, but they are good. They're well made. They're good, but they're so weird and so conflicting, polarizing, that they kind of get these like middling reviews, and it's like, oh, so it must have been okay. It's like, no, you're either gonna love this or you're gonna hate this. It really isn't a middle ground. Like, no one's gonna give this movie 3 stars except me. But this was fun. Thank you, Tamsen, for bringing this movie into our lives. We are now all honorary horse girls, so that's nice. Julie, thank you for coming on. I had a great time talking with you guys today. If you guys ever want to do anything like this again, definitely let me know. If you want to bring a movie to my attention, if ranking, you want to rank the Fast and Furious movies, you want to do a bracket of Marvel content, I'll do it at anything, as long as people talk to me about movies.
Have you seen the Lighthouse? Robert Eggers.
Oh, of course. I have it on Blu-ray. Actually, I have a very nice Blu-ray.
All right.
What's it called? Yeah, we'll keep that one in the back pocket. Do you guys have anything you want to plug before you go, like a social media or a movie, a short film you want them to watch, or anything like that?
Yeah, I just finished my senior thesis film actually last week. Comely Fee, like the girls, about a
Say that name one more time.
Comely Fee, like the girls en français. It's a dark comedy. It's a proof of concept for a television series I have written 3 episodes of in a show Bible, about a young beauty pageant queen on the hunt, running rampant in like locals Florida, super run down. Like take Melbourne, Florida, and turn it down a few notches.
Nice.
And ramp up everyone's personalities like 10 times.
Purple Hotel vibes.
Say that again?
Like the Purple Hotel.
A little bit like that, but a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, not as sad as that is.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where can people watch that?
I will be submitting it to festivals, so I can keep plugging all the festivals it's in. I am doing a virtual screening though, end of summer, with a Q&A of my cast and crew. And then, yeah, I have a website though if you want to contact me, tamsensimpson.com.
Cool. Julie, do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, if you guys are into business, I have a marketing blog, juliekrebs.wordpress.com. Yeah.
How did I not know about this already?
It's new. I just started it pretty recently. It's okay.
Good. We can all talk about marketing together.
Yeah.
It's important.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. What's it called? Hopefully we'll be doing more of these with more people and on a more regular basis. And bye.